Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your boy Shaheener coming at you with another episode of the Pokemon Babblers podcast, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Bano.
What's up?
And so we are talking about a game that we are both very, very excited to talk about.
hmm
Well, I think we could just lay it flat out is that this is what we consider the pinnacle, the peak, the best Pokemon game that they ever put out, at least up to today. Is
I
Pokemon?
say it's the
Yeah,
quintessential Pokemon experience. Like if you were ever
absolutely.
going to play a Pokemon game, if you had to play one Pokemon game ever for whatever reason, you would have to play this game.
Absolutely. And of course, we are talking about Pokemon Heart Gold and Pokemon Soul Silver, which technically are remakes of Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Silver, and Pokemon Crystal. They kind of integrate everything to it. Those games were
hmm
all released originally on the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. These, of course, released on the Nintendo DS. And so, Bono, do you want to go from there?
Yeah, so like Alex said, these are remakes of really iconic Pokemon games. They were the second Pokemon games to come out, Gold and Silver, as well as Crystal in 2001. These games came out, I believe, what was it June, around June or in
So, in
2010?
in Japan, it came out September 12th, 2009. In the
Okay,
US, it came out March 14th, 2010. And in Europe, it came out
2010.
March 26th, 2010.
Okay, so yeah, it came out in 2010. At least I was close on that.
Mhm.
But yeah, this game came out at a really, I think it was like more of like an in-between time because what Platinum had come out in 2009,
Yeah, correct.
and then we wouldn't see Black and White until 2011.
11, correct.
Yeah, so this came out a little in between, and honestly, it kind of blows both of the previous versions of the games out of the water.
Mhm.
Like Platinum was good, Platinum was a nice experience, and then we had this game which was awesome, and then we had Black and White which was kind of cool, but I feel like Heart Gold and Soul Silver still kind of blew it out of the water
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And
for a couple reasons.
yeah, I feel like that they really peaked with this game, at least in terms of just the things that they added and like how fleshed out everything was, and also
hmm
the art styles too. I feel like that everything just hit this peak. And there have been things that have been good since then, but not as good as this. This was just,
Right,
like Bono said, the quintessential Pokemon experience. Everything that you ever want in a Pokemon game is in this game.
right, and it's like you talked about it with like you said like the art style. I feel like this is like peak DS because like we had Platinum and it had the sprites and whatever, and then we had this game where it had the same thing that Platinum had, but it just felt like everything was done better. And then we had the art change in Black and White to where like they're just trying to go like more 3D 2D if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like they're trying to
yeah.
push the 3D assets of the DS
Hmm.
more so in that one than they were in Argo
Yeah.
and Soul Silver. And then you could tell the same thing with the sprites. In this one, they're more detailed and static, whereas in Black and White, they're moving and they're kind of pixelated because of the movement.
Exactly. Yeah, and it really seems like that they're trying. Yeah, like you said, they're trying to maximize the hardware of the Nintendo DS on Black and White. But this
Right.
one, I feel like that they're just like sticking to the stuff that they know and that they're good at, and
hmm
they just perfected what they were good at. And
Right.
so everything just looks so beautiful in this game too. Like not only on the DS, but like even if you play it like on a bigger screen for however you play that, yeah, just uncaptured, everything looks so clean about this game. It's just everything about it is just they just hit the marks on everything.
Right.
And also these games fetch a very very high price still, but
Yes.
I don't think
If you don't believe us talking about how good this game is, believe what the price tag is on
yeah.
eBay. Because while it may not be the $110 that they're charging for it,
Mhm.
I would say it's still worth full price.
Yeah,
Like if they sold this game on the eShop, or God forbid they got smart and sold this game on the
yeah,
eShop,
I have no
it's
idea
it's
why they
worth full
haven't.
price.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why they haven't put out DS games
Now,
on
mind
like
you,
any
it's
kind of
worth full price when it was sold, not full
yeah.
price of games today. It
Yeah,
is worth it is worth what was it, $35?
it was for 35 or 40 because it came with an extra peripheral, which we'll talk
Yeah.
about later on. But
Yeah.
yeah, reselling right now is going for an average like 140 to 150 for resell. I mean, I don't think that's completely due to the game being just top quality. I think that's like a big part of it, but also with the hardware of the cartridge itself, it has a built-in IR sensor which allows you to like IR trade with the peripheral, the Pokewalker. That's also why Black and White and Black and White 2 I feel like are also expensive too, because you can't replicate that on a flash card. You can't replicate that on an R4 or anything. Like you need
Mhm.
the actual hardware to do those IR trades through the Pokewalker, or if you're doing IR trades with another DS. And
Mhm.
so I feel like that's what separates those kind of cartridges from like a regular one, because you could find like like the Pokemon Pearl and Platinum and all that for maybe like $50, $60,
Or if
which
you go to GameStop, $80.
yeah, or $80 at a GameStop. But yeah, those get ridiculous. But anyways, that's a bit of a tangent right there. But first thing that we could talk about is well, at least our experience with pre-ordering and picking up the games, because I got some stories.
Yeah, I remember picking the day it came out. And our friend Kyle went to go pick it up at the mall.
Yeah,
I think I got it somewhere else.
you got it at GameStop, I think, right?
Yeah, I think I got it at GameStop, and I was at home playing while Alex and Kyle went to go pick it up at the mall. I had gotten mine before them yet, or
Hmm.
my copy before them. And I remember texting them when they were like, "Oh, we're at the mall." I was like, "Oh, I got a level 4. I got a Quilava already."
I was literally gonna say this story too.
The
So
game had been out with I had picked it up for maybe an hour, and I already had Quilava.
yeah, so this was basically, it's a little bit past halfway of our sophomore year in high school. And yeah, so back in the day, like at least freshman sophomore year, a lot of my friends and I, we were like, we're a bunch of mall rats. So weekends we would just go to the mall, do whatever. So I ended up I got a DS Lite that day as well. I got the red and black DS Lite, which is this one right over here. Still got it. So I got this DS Lite, and I got Pokemon Heart Gold. I pre-ordered it, and pre-order bonus, they gave you these little figurines, which I still have mine. So I got Heart Gold, and Kyle got Soul Silver. So he had the Lugia figure. I don't know if he still has it, but yeah, we were sitting outside of the food court, and like I was texting Bono a little bit of being like, hey, where are you at? And we sit down over there, and I get a call from him, and he's just like, I got a level 14 Quilava. I was like, or like, hey, I already got a level something Quilava. We're just like, we're looking at each other like, how the fuck did he do that? It's like, it was just ridiculous. We were thinking like, we barely even started the game, and you're already that far ahead of us. It was
Right.
like, it's like playing against the real life Gary. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be 3 steps ahead of you. Smell
I
you
got 10
later.
badges.
Yeah. Yeah, but after that, it's just like I just sunk all my free time into this game, and I was a bit of an underachiever in school, at least at that point. I mean, it's not like I was like failing classes all too often, but I just did not prioritize school. So I think I was mainly just focusing on playing the games. And this one, I remember putting like sinking hundreds of hours into it. It was just so much fun. I mean, a lot of it. I mean, there was a part of it that was nostalgia, but it's just everything that they had built up from that point. Like especially with Gen 4, like that they already had 3 games of Gen 4 under their belt. That adding these two was just like it was just ecstasy the whole time. It's just incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also with that, another story we have is like the Pokewalker. Like as
Mm-hmm.
soon as the games came out, like everybody at school, at least people we knew, like had a Pokewalker, and we were always doing like the trades, like right before every class, trying to get the extra items and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, there
Right
it is.
there.
Mine have some mine somewhere.
Yeah. So, do you just want to get like just talk about the Pokewalker right now then?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I was say pedometers. I think were like kind of in around
Hmm.
that time as well, which is why they probably went with it.
Yeah. So the Pokewalker is an accessory that they tied in with the game. So like every copy of the game came with a Pokewalker, and so basically it's like a. I think my battery's dead on this one, but
They
it's
probably something they. I'll
yeah,
go ahead and say it before we get into it. They
yeah.
probably should have kept doing that.
Yeah, they really should have. They should have done something with it because it was really, really cool. So, yeah, it was a pedometer that like it would count your steps, but you could take a Pokemon from your game and trade it over to the Pokewalker and have the IR sensor on it. So that's how they connected. Another reason why the games are more valuable. But yeah, you take it on adventures. You pick a map that it goes to, and you could catch Pokemon. You could collect items. You could trade with your friends. So every day you could connect with other Pokewalkers, and you could get like cool perks with it. You get cool items. You could get
Right.
like the steps or the watts or
I
whatever
think
that they had on it.
you could pick it on the on the sidebar there. Like
Yeah.
we could go over the maps that they had. Some of the
Yeah.
maps were like really cool. Some of them were also download only, so you had to download
Hmm.
it at a specific time. One of them I remember downloading in somebody's bathroom because they had the best signal in there. Was the Pikachu one where you could get a Pikachu with Surf.
Ooh. Interesting.
But yeah, but you could see like some of the Pokemon that are there. We have like the resting fields. The Kangaskhan was pretty interesting, like right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm. My internet's kind of
I think
chugging a little bit.
Group A is the hardest one to get with like the most steps, right?
Yeah, yeah, because those ones you need like 2,000 or 3,000 steps for
Yeah,
those
so it's a
ones.
pedometer, right? So it counts your steps, and once you like go into the game and select which path you're on, it'll keep counting those steps. And
Mhm.
then, depending on how many you have, it'll determine when you encounter Pokemon, it'll determine what Pokemon you can encounter on those routes. So if you
Mhm.
wanted the Kangaskhan, you got to do 5,000 steps before sending it back.
Exactly.
And the counter, I believe, did max out at 9,999 steps.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think I ended up getting all the maps at some point because there's one of them I remember that was it was a Pikachu only course.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that one there's like certain rare Pikachus that would give you like a flying Pikachu or a surfing
Yeah, that was
Pikachu.
the download one that you had to
Uh,
download.
yeah, yeah. So let me see if I can find that one over here.
It's like
Okay,
the
yeah,
Yellow Path
this
or
one.
Yellow
Yeah, Yellow
Forest. There it
Forest.
is.
So there's one the flying Pikachu, the surfing Pikachu. There's one with Flail, Volt Tackle. But yeah, I remember I had a surfing Pikachu, and for some reason I threw it into the daycare. I think I wanted to like get a Pichu, and it
Hmm.
overwrote Surf. They
Yeah, I
overrode
forgot they
it.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so frustrated because I had to go back and like try and get it all over again because that one required over 9,000 steps. Well,
Mhm.
no, you could go over no, it's like 99,000 I think steps. Like because this one it requires you to do 10,000 plus steps for the flying Pikachu. So, yeah, there's some cool ones. Also, you could get Spiritomb on one of these courses as well if I remember
I
correctly.
think there was a Japan only course as well
Yeah.
that didn't come out in the States. I think it had Torchic on it.
Yeah,
It's
there
toward the
was a
bottom, I
Torchic.
believe.
Yeah, there's one right
Yeah,
over
that
here.
one.
Yeah, it's Torchic, Eevee, Pikachu.
Did it say it was Japan only, or did it come out here?
It doesn't say. It says lock criteria event. So,
Okay,
I
yeah.
need to delve more into it.
I would say that's definitely more of a thing. You know, Japan always is. This is still a time where Japan would do events, and we still don't get any. I
Yeah,
mean, shit, still happens now. They're giving out Marshadow, Volcanion, and Genesect
that's in
in
Europe,
Europe.
but
Yeah.
they're probably gonna announce it over here pretty soon too. I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, can somebody like interpose Alex's face when he's like, I think it's gonna happen, and then it doesn't happen, and then we play some sad fucking music.
Oh, trust me, I'll get that happening. Mark my words.
But yeah, like it was super interesting. Not all of these Pokemon were catchable. I mean, like you can catch Poliwhirl or and Meowth, but some
Hmm.
of the like obviously you can see like the Torchic or Pelipper or stuff like that was used to help out fill out your decks.
Hmm.
Munchlax, especially Munchlax, it's a lot easier to get
Yeah,
in this game than it would be in Diamond and Pearl
yeah. Instead of
or Platinum,
the honey trees that we mentioned in the last episode, which you could check out right up here.
right?
But yeah,
Beldum and all that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I mean,
same.
I guess you can say Pokemon Go has kind of replaced it now because it does keep track of like how much you
Yeah,
walk and stuff like that. But it's not the same. You don't get the
yeah.
items. You don't get like the
Well,
specific Pokemon to the route.
let me make a counter argument to that too. I feel like that it also in part got replaced with the Pokeball Plus.
Hmm.
Because the Pokeball Plus, I mean, granted, you can't, there's no screen, so you can't, like, go onto courses or anything, but you could take a Pokemon from your game and put it onto the Pokeball Plus and go on a stroll with it. And then
Right.
it acquires items and BP or things like that. And
Right.
so I feel like like, that one's a little bit more to that than in Pokemon Go. Because Pokemon Go, it's like, I mean, I don't know the functionality of trading Pokemon to the mobile, but,
Hmm. See, I feel
yeah.
like they might Niantic or whoever the hell holds is the main developer for it. I believe it's Niantic needs to go
Mhm.
back, and I think they need to implement like Go functionality. Like it's probably gonna be scummy and like a paywall kind of thing, but like maybe they can have like paths that you can go down that you can find certain Pokemon for,
Mhm.
and so, like kind of like this, like they have like the thing like Group C, Group B, Group A,
Yeah.
and then maybe they can always constantly like swap out those Pokemon with whatever
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and say, oh, if you've taken this amount of steps in a week, then you have access to this and stuff like that,
That
and
would
then
be
let's say
cool.
you have to walk like 5k in order to unlock it, or because they're a business to pay 100 Pokecoins or
Mhm.
whatever,
Yeah. I feel
stuff
like
like
that it
that,
would come to that, but it would be cool to incentivize people to walk more
to
if
walk
they.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I feel like that's what it's very underlying. Like
Mhm.
it's not at the very forefront,
Yeah.
but it is something that they do encourage because they do give you rewards for walking to 5, 10k, and then
Yeah.
25k.
Also, here's a little fun factoid about the Pokewalker as well. is that at the time of release, the Pokewalker was considered one of the most accurate pedometers on the market, just flat out.
Which is
It's
funny because I
yeah.
used to fucking attach that thing to my knee and just go back and forth, and it would still
hmm
count steps.
Yeah, because it almost reminded me of like the Tamagotchi or the Digivices, but
Right.
like with those, like you could just like shake them like this, and you could hear like the machine like going up and down, like counting the
Hmm.
steps. But for this one, you had to like really like have like actually like simulate the steps for it to do that. You couldn't just like
Yeah.
shake it around like this and it would be as accurate. But like
Right.
it really knew when you're walking.
I remember a lot of people doing stuff. I remember one guy clipped it to his shoelace and then just started
hmm
tapping his foot throughout class.
Yeah,
I attached it to like the crease where my knee is on my pants, and
yeah,
then just swayed my knee from like to right, left to right, and it would count. It wouldn't count it like all the time, but it would
yeah,
count it like one every five
yeah.
swings. So there's definitely ways to get around it, but
hmm
yeah, we haven't seen anything like the Pokewalker come again. I mean, like I said, we had Go and
hmm
we had the Pokeball Plus, but I really feel like the Pokewalker was like
hmm
peak innovation
Peak
there,
peripheral, yeah. And
right? But
I think I was using it actually when I was starting at my current job. Is that I would keep it like that's why I got this cover. I got it from eBay. I think it was imported from Japan, but it has a ho
mhm.
on the back. But yeah, I would just like tie it to my panda, put it in the coin pocket, and I would just use that because I was playing Heart Gold for a little while there, just on my own, and I would use the Pokewalker and try to get the Pokemon from there. But yeah, that was like 2018, I want to say. That was pretty recent. So I think the
Right,
battery since then has died, so I'll have to go get a new one at some point.
right,
But yeah, because they use the little button batteries.
right.
But
Now that our Pokewalker side tangent is over, let's go. We'll talk briefly. I want to talk briefly about the game because I want to save like all the major story points for Gold and Silver, the actual Gold,
Mhm.
Silver, and Crystal video. So
yeah.
it's mainly the same story from Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Nothing has changed too much. A couple of things have changed. It's now mandatory to interact with with the legendary Pokemon, whereas before you could kind of skip it.
hmm
Which I don't really know if that's like a old kind of game developer thing. Like it's there if you want to do it, but it's not mandatory. Whereas like as gaming developed on now, where now we're like being like led through, and it's like oh no you have to go. I don't know if
hmm
that's like they wanted it to have that experience now, whereas in the past they're like oh whatever we don't care. So I don't know where that change happened.
I could see that. I could agree. I could see where you come from with that, and I could probably agree with it. I mean, think about like with the legendary birds in Red, Blue, and Yellow. Like you didn't
Yeah,
have to
you
do
didn't.
them. You didn't even have to go to do Mewtwo. You didn't have to. You couldn't. You could have probably gone through the whole game without encountering a single legendary Pokemon, and you'd be okay.
Right.
Yeah, now it's like they really try to integrate it into like the actual story. They want to make these games have a story. I think it might also be like a hardware thing too, where now they have more options to like give you the cutscenes and all this other
Hmm.
special stuff that they could really make it fleshed out.
Right.
Yeah.
So however that decision was made, now you do have to interact with both Lugia and Ho-Oh in order to progress the story and go on to Elite Four, which it depends on where the argument you land on it. Because like I said, they do force legendaries on you now before the Elite Four, aka Eternatus, aka Giratina,
Zamazenta.
aka Zamazenta, yeah. So you
hmm
do get forced upon all these legendaries before like the final battle.
Yeah.
So it's I'm on this. I never use them. I just put them in the box. But I'd see kids all the time that just grab it and then use Dialga to beat the crap out of Cynthia.
This was the last game where I was using legendaries because I was still getting myself reacquainted into just Pokemon in general. So like I think this is also the first game where you were telling me like we're doing Pokeballs only, like no exceptions,
Yeah,
it's Pokeballs
Pokeballs
only.
only. Yep.
So yeah, at least on main series games I try to abide by that still. But like on Legends, I don't really care because I'm just trying to like find the shinies. I'll use the Pokeballs for the shinies, but like everything else I don't really care. But
Hmm.
but also
Right.
I was using legendaries on my team, admittedly. But
Hmm.
again, like I said, I was a normie. Also,
Hmm.
they had some GameStop events too, like because we are getting some events over here, like unlike
Right.
how they were doing in Japan, but we are getting some of them, but they're mainly through GameStop, where you had to bring your DS over, and
Right.
like as long as you're in the vicinity of the store, then you could get a wireless trade of that. And so you were getting like the one that I remember getting was the Jirachi. I was using Jirachi on my team. There was the spiky eared Pichu.
Hmm.
Uh, and
I don't
then
think that one
yeah,
could transfer up though.
no, that was just stuck onto that one game. and there was a shiny Pichu. There was a Celebi. Well, actually, no, you get the Celebi via the event, right? Or like via the in-game event.
No, I do remember you get
Or we ended up getting the
you get
Celebi.
a
Oh
Celebi
yeah, because
in
it
an
triggers
event.
the other event. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I was using Jirachi, I was using Ho-Oh on my team. Before Gen 5, Quilava was my favorite Pokemon of all time. So I used Quilava, or Cyndaquil as my starter, and I kept Quilava on my team as a Quilava all the way up until the Red battle. And then right before I battled Red, I evolved it to Typhlosion. I don't know why I didn't just keep it as Quilava, but I think I was just like, oh, I want to have the best team ever. In my head, I was like, oh, I want this to be epic or whatever the fuck.
Hmm.
Because yeah, I had imagination back then. Now I'm a bitter old man.
Now everything's gray.
uh,
So as part
yeah.
of the legendary, they also gave, and part of like evolving the story of the game, they also the Kimono girls that were in Ecruteak City now play more of a pivotal role, uh, in the sense that they're there, and in order to interact with the legendary Pokemon, you do have to talk to them and do stuff, and they will go ahead and lead you to it, whether it's in the was it Whirlpool Islands
Yeah.
or in the it's not Bell, is it not the Bell Tower? What is it?
It is the bell tower, and well,
It is
bell
the Bell
tower is where you
Tower.
get Ho-Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, Bell Tower, Ho-Oh, and then the Whirl Islands, you get Lugia.
Yeah, correct. Because it used to be the tin tower, but then they changed it to the bell tower.
Yeah, so they're interesting. I don't think they added the newer ones, right? It's still just Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon, Umbreon, and Espeon. They didn't add
I
Leafeon or Glaceon
I
yet.
believe so. Yeah, I don't think that it was in there because, like, as part of the story, those weren't in the national decks, or those were in the national decks, but not in the Johto decks. Correct?
Right, but I
Yeah.
don't think like even after that they added
I don't think
the
so.
like they didn't add two more Kimono sisters
I
from.
don't think so. Yeah, they did not. It was just the regular five.
I think that would have been cool to see like if they had like because you could see how they're all dressed up like Ho-Oh, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been cool like a post game thing where two of their sisters had like come back from Sinnoh and they're wearing like the Lugia colored kimono, like but instead of like the red it's like predominantly white and then it has like the purple. But yeah, so like I said, they have their thing. Kind of a missed opportunity with the introducing Leafeon and Glaceon, which are
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon that just were announced in this generation. So
Yeah.
there's that. And then we talked about events earlier. There were a couple of events. There was a Pikachu colored Pichu, which is just a shiny Pichu.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a spiky eared Pichu, which I think is a callback to one of the Pikachu
The
side
Pikachu
adventures.
Bros. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or the
in
Pichu Bros. Yeah.
one of the movies,
Mm-hmm.
and that triggered an event. There's also the Celebi event, which I believe you get a gift Celebi, and then you take it like you would in the Crystal event, which is Japanese only, or now it's on the Virtual Console in America, where you
Mm-hmm.
take the Celebi to the or no, I think in the Crystal version it's the GS Ball, but
Yeah.
in Heart Gold Soul Silver you take the Celebi to the shrine, and it actually sends you into the past to see this event between your rival and Giovanni,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Let's see if I can
actually
find
pretty
it.
cool and pretty sad at the same time
Yeah. Let me see if
because
I can find it.
it gives more credence to the story that Gold and Silver really play out, because Gold and Silver is a true is a true sequel to Red and Blue,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it like even all the more crazy.
Yeah.
And
They.
so I believe I can't remember if it's you go into the past and then back to the future, or it's all in the past.
Yeah, so essentially, like, you take the Celebi over to the Ilex Forest, and that triggers an
Hmm.
event with Lyra, which is now like the not like a rival, but like a neighbor, friend, companion
An
that
X and
shows up
Y
from time to
rival,
time. Yeah,
it's just a
exactly, an
term.
X and Y rival. Yeah, and so it takes you to the past 3 years ago. Celebi takes you back in time, and it shows your rival with Giovanni. And also, it's revealed to you that Giovanni is your rival's father because there's none of that backstory really in Gold and Silver. It shows how he's just like, I hate you, boy, and all that stuff. You go up and you confront Giovanni and you battle him, which is still in the past. But after you beat him, then it takes you back to the present time.
And I think at the point you go to fight him is like at the peak of the story with the
Mm-hmm.
radio tower.
Correct.
And I
Yeah.
think he was actually going to go, but because you beat him, he doesn't actually go.
Mm-hmm.
He is disheartened.
Yeah,
I
and
can't remember the exact text. I think he was like, I wasn't gonna go in, like I wasn't gonna go anyway.
yeah, it's like I didn't want to do it anyways. It's
I didn't want to do it
fine.
anyways, but it is a
Yeah,
nice scene. They didn't have to do it,
yeah,
and well, I mean, they didn't have to do it. It was already in the game. You just needed
yeah.
the goddamn Celebi to trigger it.
Exactly, exactly.
So it is pretty neat that they had something like that
Hmm.
there, and that they considered stuff like
Yeah,
that, and expanding the story of this game.
yeah, and then they gave Celebi like an actual like somewhat of a like a
That they actually gave
purpose.
us Celebi is a miracle.
Yeah, exactly. That they gave us Celebi was first a miracle, but
Because you have
also
to
that they
remember,
gave
there's a
yeah.
time where they were just like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, because we didn't get Celebi up, like, at least they didn't bother with Celebi and Johto for America until this. And
Right.
then, like, years later, when they had Gold, Silver, and Crystals, the Virtual Console, then they gave you the GS Ball, which they
Hmm.
never gave to us before, and that triggered the actual event in the game for catching Celebi. But this one, like, you're
Right.
just given the Celebi. You don't have the.
PSA, buy Virtual Console Crystal now before
Yeah,
March, whatever, then it's gone
yeah,
forever.
get it. Yeah, if you haven't gotten them ready on the Virtual Console, go and buy them now because they are going to be gone. I believe it was March 27th, 2023. So,
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure when March rolls around next year, I'm gonna have like a file, like I'm gonna just like withdraw a bunch of money and be like, okay, I got 4 DSs, I'm gonna buy Virtual Console on here, and here,
hmm,
and
yeah,
just
make
buy them
sure,
all.
yeah, invest in eShop right now.
Invest in eShop. They can
Yeah.
only go up.
So there is another event that was in this game,
Toys
which,
R Us,
yeah, it was a Toys R Us event. You got
not a
it.
GameStop event.
Yeah. For some reason, they decided to go to Toys R Us for some event. Like, there were some of them that they did Toys R Us. Most of them was GameStop, but,
That's how
like,
dated this video is gonna be. Remember Toys
yeah.
R Us?
Yeah. I never pre-ordered a game from Toys R Us, but I did a lot of amiibo hunting
I
at
did.
Toys R Us.
I think I pre-ordered X and Y.
I remember that because you got the plush, and I really wish I
Yeah.
did that too. Like, I feel stupid for not doing that, but oh well. Yeah. So basically, you got an Arceus from Toys R Us in an event, very similar to how you would at GameStop, and you go to the real ruins of Elf, and you talk to. Well, you're about to enter where the researchers are, and Cynthia walks out. Because of course, when you walk into a room and Cynthia shows up, then your whole life is
And I'll
fucked.
start.
But
Dun, dun,
yeah,
dun, 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 dun.
but yeah, she's just like, "Come with me. We have no time to explain." And so she takes you to this like weird cabin in the middle of like the Arctic and like in the snow.
It's
And
at the very north end of the Johto region.
yeah,
It's
so
actually off the map. I think if you
yeah,
pull the map up while you're looking at it,
hmm,
you're off the map.
yeah, it's just completely off the grid. And it's an area that they call the Sinjo ruins because it's somewhere in between Sinnoh and Johto. And so it's only you can only
In
access
the
it. Yeah.
Pokemon world, if
Yeah,
we're
in the
talking
Pokemon
about
world.
like the real regions, like where
Yeah.
Sinnoh is supposed to be, is like thousands of miles
Yeah.
north of Johto. But whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, yeah. So then Cynthia's just like, "Okay, you got to go with me. We're going to this shrine and or these ruins and there's like we need your Arceus here. We need you to do this event." So, it's just you and your Arceus, nothing else. You walk over to this cave and Arceus goes to the center of it and it shows like a cutscene and it intersplices like pictures of like the actual real world and like pictures like galaxies and stars and shit. So it's just going through this whole slideshow, and then all of a sudden Cynthia's just like, okay, you pick one of these legendary Pokemon, you get to keep it. So you get to pick between Dialga, Palkia, or Giratina, and you get the respective item with it, like one of it, like Adamant, Grisius,
Adamant
or
Orb, Grisius, or the whatever the pearl one, Lustrous Orb, I
Lustrous
think.
Orb. Yeah, so you get one of those items with the legendary, then the event's basically over.
Level 1, by the way. It's an egg.
It's a level 1 of those legendaries, so you get to start it from scratch. Could you shiny hunt those?
You can. It's
Yeah.
actually really funny
Oh,
to see. Some
that's
people have done it.
insane. Oh my god, that'd be ridiculous.
It
But
is, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that was really cool. Also, there is a well, I remember when I was younger and I had an action replay, I would re-trigger that event so I could get all three of the legendaries. But yeah, you only get to do that once, unless you.
Now, as I say, mind
Yeah.
you, with all these events we're talking about, those cards that they do those events,
Hmm.
you can still trigger the events using 2DSs. You put that card in a DS, turn it on, and connects to the internet, and then you can host that event wherever.
Hmm.
So those
Exactly.
cards actually do sell for a lot more than some
Hmm.
of the games do.
Oh, totally.
because they're supposed to, I'm pretty sure they're branded like right on top. It says not for redistribution.
Exactly. It's like some employees just like kind of like swiped one, or maybe
Right.
like the Nintendo representatives didn't go back to like reclaim them,
Yeah.
because it's like a Nintendo rep usually goes to these stores, they'll set up like the whatever event, and then they just
Hmm.
leave the DS there, and then at the end of the event they'll come back and be like, okay, I'm here to pick up the carts or whatever
Hmm.
happens. But yeah, I thought that that was a really, really cool event, but it doesn't really amount to anything. I still think that the Celebi event was my favorite just because of how much into the actual lore they get into.
I'd say my favorite Pokemon to get from is probably the spiky-eared Pichu. It's
I
just
loved it. I just hate that they didn't bring it up.
right.
Like,
And going off of why we would like, why I like spiky-eared Pichu is a point that we kind of missed at the beginning, but it's probably
yeah.
been apparent to you in all these pictures now. Pokemon actually follow you in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
One
Yes.
of the most requested features ever since Pokemon Yellow and the following Pikachu. Pokemon of every Pokemon that is into the decks up to this point, from Bulbasaur all the way to the god himself Arceus, can follow you in game.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it's so good that they added that too. It just added another level of immersion. It's like, yeah, you're on an adventure and you have your best friend by your side.
Right, and they could have
And
been completely lazy and didn't have to do it
yep.
at all. But
Mm-hmm.
if your Pokemon is following you is shiny, it will be shiny in the following sprite, which makes
Oh
this
my
game's like
god.
even more of like the holy grail of
So,
shiny hunting in.
and especially if the national dex at this point has 493 Pokemon, that's 493 sprites times two. So they had to
Right.
like make all new sprites for all these like 800, 900 plus Pokemon, and
Mm.
just allow it to like have the animation and the color scheme. It's amazing how much like care they put into that. And
Right.
also, like, as you can see on the screen over here, Pokemon have certain dialogue too, depending on where they're at and what Pokemon you have with you. That they'll have certain like things that get triggered. Also, I believe that you can get items from your partner Pokemon as well, and accessories
Mhm.
for the contests.
I'd
So
also go on to say that they're also true scale. So if a Pokemon
yeah,
like Groudon is supposed to be like huge, it'll be way taller than your trainer is,
yeah, and there's some
or
Pokemon
have
that
more
are,
bulk.
yeah, there's Pokemon that are sometimes that they're too big that in the buildings they won't show because of how big they are. So like if you go in the
Right.
Pokemon Center with a Groudon, it won't show it.
Or if you
But
go in there with like a Steelix, I don't think it'll show it either.
mm-mm, yeah, so like the mid-sized Pokemon like Typhlosion for Alligator, those could be shown still, but like if you have Ho-Oh with you, there's no chance. Which I mean makes sense, but it's cool that they thought about that as well instead of just whatever Pokemon's in there. But yeah, this was one of my favorite things about Heart Gold and Soul Silver is the fact that you got your partner Pokemon with you the whole time.
So yes, Pokemon scale, and so you can't take big ass Pokemon with you in the Pokemon Center, which
Yeah.
is something they didn't have to do,
Mm-hmm.
but is definitely like, something that somebody thought of along the way that, God bless him or her,
Mm-hmm.
and actually encoded it into the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm happy that they did that too. So
Right.
shout out to Game Freak for actually using their heads for once. Uh,
And I think the reason that they did this is because obviously it's been like a long requested feature of having Pokemon follow you. But another thing that they also did that they would use the sprites for is actually something that they added in this game on top of with the bug catching contest in the national park. They also added the Pokeathlon, which is
yes,
like a super mini game attraction in the, I think it's like to the east, or no, the west of National Park.
correct.
And so what it is like basically the Pokemon Olympics. um, and they have like a bunch of mini games and categories that you could participate in. What is it? Speed.
Speed, power, skill, stamina, and jump.
Okay, yeah. So it's those are all like that. And so like I was talking, you could use you could like grind up berries to in a berry blender to kind of make like this protein shake or whatever to feed your Pokemon, and that'll help increase their categories or their stats in those categories. So you could essentially have like a 5-star Pokemon that has every single one of those.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also Pokemon that are just naturally gifted in a certain stat. I think like Venusaur has like a really good stamina or something like that. So it's
Yeah.
supposed to like reflect its HP
Yeah.
and whatnot. I've seen the completionist video on this, and they're talking about how they had to like win every category with like I think it's like over 200 Pokemon or something like that in
Oh
order to
my
like, get like every
god.
medal and trophy.
That's insane.
Right? I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But in order for the sake of completion, like having to do that, you'd have to like do that because I think like there's certain trophies rooms and stuff like that. So you'd have to win all these medals and then these trophies. And then there's like a secret trophy room
Hmm.
where it'll have a statue. I think it's like a statue of you, just like you and your get up. Your
Hmm.
because you change outfits for this. You put on a tracksuit,
Yeah.
which I think is hilarious.
Absolutely.
I think it's at the bottom right there.
Oh, was that at the
If you
bottom?
scroll all the way back,
Right here.
yeah, individual events, Hall of Fame, yeah, the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame for the Pokeathlon.
Hmm. Yeah. Dang. God, I swear, it's like whenever I like look at those kind of videos, like with the completionists or anybody that does 100% runs, like the amount of dedication they put in those kind of videos, not just in like making the videos, but like just getting the footage and just filming it. It's just admirable. It's respectable. Yeah.
Right, and it's pretty interesting that they put this in this game in particular because it's like I could totally see them like packaging all these mini games together and even making a couple more and putting them in like I don't know like Pokemon Pokeathlon for the DS or something like that. Like this
Hmm.
could have been a separate game,
Oh yeah.
but they folded it into this game, which is pretty neat.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
kind of a shame it hasn't come back. I mean, I'm not pining for it to come back, but
Yeah.
I kind of miss the day where they would insert like these mini games just for the
Mhm.
sake of having a mini game inside the game.
Exactly. Like the Curry Dex is not enough.
Right. I think it's also kind of like why I miss the what's it called? It's not the Pokemon Casino. It's the Game Corner.
Yeah.
Just because of the monotony of like, or not the monotony,
It's
but
just
like the
mindless fun.
yeah. There's just like you get a game within your game. I think that's what I miss the most about it.
Hmm.
Is like if I got tired of like grinding Pokemon, I could just go play the slots.
Hmm. But yeah, now they can't do that because if you put gambling in your game, it's automatically rated teen as default.
Which is funny because it's like even if okay, so we can't do gambling, right?
Yeah.
Why can't we have the game corner with just these mini games and we get coins based on that?
Well, I mean that would be considered gambling because you're getting currency, right?
Well, not if it's like an in-game currency.
Well, I mean that's how they had it already with the original ones. Like they
Yeah, but
gave
you
you the
still get
coin case for a reason.
you get points for doing Voltorb flip.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, why couldn't they've even just like done like more fleshed out versions of that?
That's what
Like,
I'm saying. Why
yeah,
can't we get the game corner with just mini games and then
yeah,
get points and get to reward Pokemon?
yeah. I have no idea, but
I get it. They want to avoid the whole controversy of a thing, but
yeah,
at the same time, it's like you've already set a precedent by doing Voltorb flip. Yeah, they could
yeah,
have removed it. That's what they did in BDSP. They removed the game corner in Veilstone.
yeah. It's so dumb.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I would be too shocked
yeah.
if it came back or miss
It's
it.
safe. It's safer that than loot boxes, right?
It's also kind of a sign of the times. I don't think we're ever gonna get a Safari Zone now that Pokemon games are starting to turn into open world experiences now, because
Yeah.
it's like what's the point of going to a Safari Zone that's already an open world experience if you already have one? So
I didn't think
Sag.
about it. I didn't think about it like that, but unfortunately, that's a bitter pill I got to swallow. That's I feel like you're right on that one. It's a
Right,
shame because Safari Zones were so cool,
right.
but oh well. I feel like the Gen One, like the Kanto Safari Zone, was like the best one.
Mhm.
That Gen 4's whatever they called it, the Great Marsh, I thought that was stupid. I
Mhm.
really did not like it. I like Gen 3's, but Gen 1 was just my favorite. I don't know, the step counter and everything was just good for me.
But
But
moving on, we do
mhm,
have rematches in this game that that aren't tied to like the VS Seeker,
mhm,
like whereas before you'd run back and forth and just summon the power of your little VS Seeker, and then it would do a roll and see if people would battle you. Now certain
exactly.
trainers will call you on the Pokegear, which is a new function introduced in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. It's basically a phone. You'll take their number down. You'll be forever cursing yourself for doing so because
Yeah.
then they'll just keep calling you nonstop.
All the time.
Some of them aren't too bad because some of them give you evolution stones. So especially if
Mhm,
you're doing Nuzlocke or whatever, there
yeah.
are like certain trainers that you want their number so that way you can
Mhm.
get a leaf stone earlier than you normally would.
Exactly. I think it's the fisherman that's right before Mahogany Town. I believe gives you the evolutionary stones. I think.
There's also like some kid to the west of Eckertique that's like up north. I think he gives you a stone as well. There's
Mhm.
also some chick that's south of Goldenrod that gives you one. But yeah, there's all these certain trainers that will give you items like that, but there are also trainers that will battle you, and some of them will battle you depending on what day it is, as well as what time it is. So some trainers will only want to battle you at night, some during the day, and whatnot. So
Yeah.
it's to I think here's the thing. We'll start the bonus side tangent right now. There's nowhere in Johto to train, like
Yeah.
like full stop. There's nowhere
Mhm.
unless you leave the Ekritik City with a full team of 6, you won't have your like a decent level team by the time you get to the Elite Four because there's nowhere else to train. The only XP that's worth anything is against Pokemon trainers. There's no XP from Pokemon is not worth it because there are no Pokemon that are a high enough level to yield that XP to warrant grinding. Like
Right.
even in Victory Road, it's like extremely hard to like level. I'm gonna look it up, but you continue
Hmm.
on my tangent because
Yeah.
there's
No,
nowhere to
I
train.
completely agree. I feel like I was struggling a little bit there to find Pokemon to grind.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think of places that were like worth grinding, but I don't know. I just feel like I ended up battling or just kept on battling the trainers, and I tried to do rematches if I could. But at least like grinding in the wild was just I was hard pressed for it. It reminded me of Gen 3, at least before you're battling Norman,
Okay, here
where
we go.
yeah, you got it?
The highest level Pokemon in Victory Road in Gen 4 is 35.
Wow.
And your first match against the Elite Four, I'm pretty sure, is a level 40. I'm gonna look for that real
That's
quick.
insane. Let me
Indigo Plateau is what it's called, correct? Yeah, there it is. Gen 4, Pokemon League. Yes, your battle against Will, who's the first Elite Four, his lowest level Pokemon is 40.
wow. That's
Where the
insane.
highest level Pokemon at the end is 50. So you're telling me in the wild, the strongest level Pokemon that you can catch up to that point is 35, and the final boss Pokemon of the Pokemon League is 15 levels above that.
Yep. Yeah, actually no, it's Onyx with level 36. You can find a level 36 on.
36,
Yeah.
14 levels above that. But
That's
yeah,
absurd.
yeah, there's nowhere to train. So unless you are like dedicated to like answering every single rematch call, there's nowhere else to train. And
Mhm.
God forbid you decide to pick up a Sneasel or a Swinub
Mhm.
in the ice cave before that, because that's like
Yeah.
what, 7 badges in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're screwed.
Yeah, and it's not like you get a Razor Claw anytime before you beat the game or before you beat the
Right,
original Elite Four. So it's
right.
like you're gonna have it as a Sneasel and not a Weavile pretty much the whole time.
So yeah,
So
I think people talk about the Whitney fight as like the hardest thing ever. No, there's like nowhere to train.
yeah, yeah.
Even for that fight, anywhere
Mhm.
before that, unless you like solely leveled like your starter, and God forbid you got a male starter, so it gets sucked into a tract and whatnot,
Mhm.
there's nothing to do.
Yeah, you're pretty much stuck between a rock and a hard place. I feel like that the best Pokemon to have for that Lance battle would be like Mamoswine. Because
Right.
I think you can get Mamoswine in it because of the way you evolve Piloswine, just with the ancient
Mm.
power by the move tutor, which I think you can do that.
Right.
So,
But it's
yeah.
just, that's like one of the glaring flaws in this game, and I'm surprised they didn't fix it. But there's
Yeah.
like, unless you have like your full team is 6 before Whitney or after, or like after Whitney before Morty,
Hmm.
then you're set, because then you have Jasmine, you have Chuck, you
Hmm.
have the whole Team Rocket debacle, you have Price, you have Claire, and
Hmm.
you have Victory Road. But I feel like after and before the fourth or before after Whitney but before Morty, if you don't have your team put together right there, like you're
You're
just gonna
just
be
gonna be playing
underleveled
catch up the whole time. Yeah.
the whole time. Yeah,
Hmm.
so that's my TED talk. Thanks for coming. Let's see, what else do we talk about. Oh, the commemorative photos. That's another thing. We would talk about building your team. So at certain points of the game, you can take a photo because they want to, like really sell the points that you're walking with your Pokemon now.
Hmm.
So you can actually take a photo with your Pokemon team at certain points of the story of the game, and yeah, you can see right there. It'll be you and the sprites in the background and stuff like that,
Hmm.
which I think is pretty cool. Especially
Yeah.
like if you're doing like your shiny only run and you just want to take like the pictures of like your shiny Pokemon.
Look at all these places you can take pictures at too. It's like to
Right.
fill out your whole photo album. That's amazing.
Right. It's also pretty sad that you can't, like, there's no Game Boy printer that you could like
Mhm.
print these photos out.
I know. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool to have.
Oh man, like and that makes me value even more with new Pokemon Snap that they added that feature that you can connect the Switch to that little mini printer that they had, the Instax printer. I because that kind of replicated that for me at least with going to a
Which is funny
blockbuster
because
and printing
if
out.
they can do that, why can't they just do that for images that you take or snapshots that you take on your Switch?
Yeah, you can totally. Yeah, they
Yeah.
integrated it from there. Like that was the first Like that was the first time where they're like, okay, now you could do this and you could connect it to an Instax printer.
Right. So once again, please put the DS games and the Game Boy Advance games on the fucking Nintendo shop on the Switch,
Yeah.
please. I would love to be
Or
able to
at
print out
least
those
even
pictures.
Nintendo, like the Switch Online, like put it on there.
Which now that I'm saying it, it's funny to me because they will resell you fucking Skyward Sword and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess,
Hmm.
and they won't resell Pokemon games?
Yeah,
Like question mark?
exactly. Yeah, because they
What?
made it a whole thing when they were adding Pokemon to the 3DS shop.
Right.
And it's like, I'm sure they could easily just copy
And
paste
even then,
that
we got a
code.
fucking pittance on that. We got the original
Yeah.
Red, Blue, and Yellow, and then the fucking Johto games, and that was it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not like they were putting Game Boy Advance games on there unless you had the Ambassador program. And even
Right.
then, you didn't get Pokemon.
Right. There's
Uh,
gonna be another tier of Nintendo Online. So you got the basic bitch tier, then you got
mhm.
your Nintendo 64 tier, and then we're gonna get our Game Boy Advance tier, and then our
I
fucking
would
DS
pay
tier.
gladly for the DS tier at that point. Like if they guarantee they get Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I'd pay that shit
Because
hundred
what
dollars
is
a
it? It's
year.
it's $20 for the regular internet, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
it's what, $60 for the Nintendo
60
for the
or 60 or
yeah.
50. Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it's 50.
50.
Is it 50 a month or
Yeah, it's 50
50
a year. 50 a year. $50 a
50 a
month would
year?
be absurd. Yeah, it's $50 a year.
$50 a year. So let's say you go up another two tiers, so $80 a year for your DS
I
games.
would gladly pay that at this. Yeah, so they also integrated, at least after you beat the main game, that they integrate the Hoenn and the Sinnoh Pokemon now, since they weren't originally in the Gen 2 games. So that was
Hmm.
pretty cool. So now you could encounter not only like those Pokemon, but you could also encounter the legendaries. They have designated spots
Yeah.
where you could encounter some of the
It
legendaries.
really gave the Pokegear like a lot more functionality because you actually have
Mm-hmm.
to like wait for a certain day and then tune the radio to find the Pokemon March to actually encounter those Pokemon, and then it would depend on where you were whether or
Mm-hmm.
not those Pokemon showed up.
Exactly, exactly. Which was very, very cool that they added that and they made it more focused on that because one of the main gimmicks of like the Gen 2 games was, at least with the time, with like day night cycles and the
Mhm.
timing and the days of it, but they really like gave more reason to pursue that in these games. Like as you can see even like with the commemorative photos that the cameraman will only be there on like with some of them on certain days
Right.
where it's like you couldn't always like go and like get a picture or anything. So like they gave you more reason to wait for certain days to do things, or at least to play every single day to do everything, which I thought was
Right.
really cool, and I'm all for that.
And it's like I was playing every day already, so all this stuff went
Yeah.
by the wayside. Also, they did Swarm Pokemon again, but that is also tied to the Pokegear, and you have to like listen to the Professor Oak show, and
Hmm.
those Pokemon will be there. I don't think it's a lot. I think it's like hardly any
Yeah.
that are there. But it's still
Just to help fill out the national decks.
yeah, it's still interesting to see.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like honestly, like out of all of these, like nothing too spectacular. Like honestly, probably Ralts would be the one I'd go for,
Hmm.
but or even Clamperl, I
Tell me,
guess.
you want to go
But
for Relicanth,
oh
bro?
yeah, Relicanth, bro. Also, I guess yeah, they did have some version exclusive ones as well, like Baltoy, Gulpin, Mawile, Sableye. But
Hmm.
it's interesting that Yanma and Dunsparce, like that, there's Gen 2 Pokemon that are part of the swarms.
I think Quillfish and Gamma were Swarm Pokemon in the original games too.
Hmm. Gotcha. That would make sense then.
So
Yeah.
there's no actual spots to plant berries in Johto for whatever reason,
Hmm.
but it's not like they could have just like wrote out berries entirely. So they did probably one of the best things I've ever seen is they gave you like these berry pots that you could carry in your backpack, and you could plant the berries like in a little like a tiny little greenhouse, and the berry would grow in there, and then you'd pick it out.
Hmm.
And if you think about it too much, you're like, well, how are they going to grow an entire tree in a little pot? But then at the same time, you have to remember they put gigantic titans that form the earth into tiny
Hmm.
little pokeballs. So
Yeah.
that's how I justified it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's something I really would like to see come back. Maybe it doesn't
Hmm.
have to be all four. Maybe it could just be two pots. So that way
Yeah.
you don't just like overload on berries. But it's like, berries are useful, especially if you're doing like Nuzlocke and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I remember that people are like, these things are like, a godsend because you can have that, the berries and stuff like that grow in your backpack before a major battle while you're grinding and stuff like that. Another
Exactly.
thing to tie in that's a little bit later on the list is the savings with your mom. So
Hmm.
in the original game, you could have your mother take like the savings with from battle. She'd take half the money that you'd win and put it into a little like she'd hold on to it for you, and
Yeah.
then she'd buy you
25%.
yeah, or 25%. And
Hmm.
she'd buy you certain items depending on how much money you had. And
Hmm.
in Her Gold Soul Silver, they introduced like the or in Gen 4 they introduced like the type effective berries.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get hit with a super effective type, it's like reduced damage. And I know these in Nuzlocke are like absolutely a godsend
Oh yeah.
and would help you out. And
Also,
it
one thing that actually took out from these games is decorating your room, decorating your bedroom with like
that's true.
Poké and stuff. So they took that out, but yeah, they replaced it with this for at least with the savings. Because before, like the mom would buy like the dolls and stuff like that too. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So now they replace it with these berries.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I think she can
Hmm.
also buy you like a moonstone at some
Yep.
point.
Yeah, it's a
So she can
bunch
buy
of.
you some really good stuff, but most of the time she ends up buying you just the berries.
Which I mean is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, no, but if you're like trying to get like the moonstone or a
Yeah.
focus sash or a choice
Yeah.
scarf,
She's like, oh yeah, I bought you this Kabia berry.
yeah, I've bought you this berry that you may or may not need. But
Yeah.
there was a sale on the moonstone, but I just didn't think you wanted it. They
Yeah.
also had a sale on a choice scarf, but I don't think you want. I didn't
Nah,
think you'd want that.
You want a Babiri baby.
Yeah, you
Babiri
definitely want
berry.
that.
Okay, so roaming Pokemon. So roaming Pokemon, of course, they come back because they had them in the original games.
Hmm.
So it's the Entei and Raikou are the only roaming Pokemon out of the legendary beasts because Suicune is tied to the plot like it was in Crystal. But with this one, yeah, so you don't need to encounter them now to track them. Is my understanding
Like
of it.
you don't have to encounter them in battle in order to track
Yeah,
them. I believe because it's
exactly.
tied to the story, you technically encounter them when they
Hmm.
awaken.
Yeah.
So that way you don't actually have to like go and look for them.
Exactly, which makes it very easy to locate them now too, because you could go back and forth to look at your map. I mean, I feel
Hmm.
like with Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum was easier to
Hmm.
find the roaming Pokemon, but this one is still pretty good. It's just not as good as like Platinum's.
There is a way to shiny hunt them. I just don't remember
Ooh.
how. I do remember that you have to awaken them each time. I think it's
Oh
because
God,
like that's when it generates whether or not they're shiny.
that's insane. I'm sure that
So you'd
people
have
have done that, of course, but
so you'd have to play that scene and then run up and up and down from Ecruteak to that one route
mhm.
to check if that
Yeah,
check if it's
and you
there.
probably wouldn't have like a Master Ball or anything unless you traded in from another game.
Yeah, which is the other thing that you'd have to do. But
Yeah,
yeah, there is a way to do it. I just don't remember how to do it at this point.
yeah.
But if I had to venture a guess, I think you'd have to awaken them, go and then try to encounter them, and then if
Mhm.
it's not shiny, reset, do that.
Exactly. You have to buy a bunch of repels and whatever you need for it.
But there are other
Yeah.
Pokemon, like specifically Sudowoodo, that if you didn't catch it or you ran away from it or you
Mhm.
knocked it out, if you go and beat the Elite Four, it'll actually respawn and give you another chance to
Yeah.
catch it.
Which is kind of cool though, because I mean, I don't know how often people would defeat the Sudowoodo. I mean, I caught it every time, even though it's just Sudowoodo, but it's the only one in the game.
I think
So,
Sudowoodo is actually a soft reset too, so you can
mm,
find that one shiny as well.
oh, that'd be a cool one.
I
But
think that'd be pretty cool for like a shiny, not yeah, shiny badge quest, if not a dream team.
mhm,
Like if Sudowoodo is not your favorite Pokemon,
yeah,
like just having it be the Pokemon that you catch before the fourth gym. And
yeah,
there are other stuff that happens when you defeat the Elite Four. I believe you defeat the Elite Four, you can battle Red again.
mm-hmm, yeah,
But there are definitely like a lot of other things tied to just beating the Elite Four will reset
yeah.
stuff in the overworld.
Yeah, and it's nice that they're adding that too, that they're giving you more second chances to like make the game replayable or whatever you got to do, or if you're
Hmm.
trying to get like the ribbons rebattle like when you battle red, which is good that you
Hmm.
could just like do the Elite Four, go back over there, beat him, get the ribbon.
If you go up real quick, is that Latios and Latios static, the one up top?
That one is a static encounter, but you only get it by having the it's an event, it's a Wi-Fi event by getting the Enigma Stone. And
Okay.
so, yeah, pretty much the only way now is by using a dummy server because, of course, the DS servers are officially down. So using a dummy
Hmm.
server or just like triggering
Action
the event,
replay.
yeah, action replay or something of that sort.
And then
Nefarious activity.
you also get the roaming one
Yeah.
down below. Or I think they're a version exclusive, are they
Yeah,
not?
they are version exclusive. So in Latias, you get Heart Gold, Latios, and Soul Silver. But the Enigma Stone event gives you the opposite one of that. In Pokemon Crystal, they introduced the Battle Tower. So that was the very
Hmm.
first game where we had the Battle Tower. But now they replaced it with having just the whole Battle Frontier. Basically, copy paste from Platinum is just the whole Battle Frontier.
Right.
So you have the same challenges. I don't remember, are the Tycoons the same too?
Yeah, they're the
Yeah.
exact. It's literally like you said, copy paste. It's the same
Yeah.
tycoons. It's the same facilities and whatnot.
Yeah.
It kind of gives. Well, no, as I say, it's like kind of like the anime because I believe it's the battle pyramid flies around and goes from place to place, whereas the battle frontier is kind of static.
Uh-huh.
So in my head, I'm thinking of like the whole battle frontier decided to just lift up from Sinnoh and fly
Mm-hmm.
it over to Johto.
Exactly. We'll take the battle frontier and push it somewhere else. That's
Right.
basically how it was, which it is nice that they added that so you didn't have to plug in Platinum every time that you want to do Battle Frontier. You just have your team there as it is.
Right. And you also had access to like more Pokemon than you did in those games, so you could have
Mm-hmm.
Kanto, Johto, or
Yeah,
more easier access to the Kanto and Johto decks than you would in Platinum to get over
exactly.
there.
Exactly. Also, there are new areas. We briefly mentioned it that there are new areas in Heart Gold and Soul Silver that they added in. So
Hmm.
there's Route 47 and 48 that were added to the west of what was it?
Yeah,
What
and
was it?
what?
Cianwood City, and so that would lead you to the new Safari Zone.
Hmm.
There's also the Embedded Tower, which would allow you to find the box legendaries of Gen 3, so Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza, which those ones were version exclusive,
Hmm.
Groudon, Kyogre. And then once you have both of them from that event in particular, you go over to Professor Oak or Elm. Or no, it's
Hmm.
Mr. Pokemon, whoever the fuck it is. But yeah, he gives you the green like emerald to go over and get Rayquaza after that.
All of which
Uh,
are shiny hunting or
yeah,
huntable.
I think this was one of the few games I think where like there wasn't really anything that was shiny lock, was there?
No, not for the most part. You can even
Yeah.
do the box legendaries if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, the route, it was cool that they added those. They also added the Cliff Cave on there too, which I forget the significance of the Cliff Cave. I think it's just a
It's
cave.
just a connecting area.
Yeah.
But you can also find a 1% Steelix encounter,
I think I encountered that before
which is
already. Yeah.
actually pretty easy because you can do that with a Magnemite that you catch like literally on the route before.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use Magnet Pull and pull it out more.
We're gonna mention this a little bit in the Gold and Silver episode, but there was since it was on originally the games were on like the Game Boy cartridges is only like so much storage they had on it. They had to cut corners on the Kanto region because they had both regions in there, so there's some corners that were cut. But in
Thank
this
you,
game,
Iwata.
yeah, Blessed Iwata was able to actually make it work because he was asked to help with like optimizing the space on the game. So in this game, since there's more storage on the DS cartridge, they made the
Well, I think
Kanto.
yeah,
Yeah,
they were talking about they
yeah,
weren't trying to do Kanto yet. They were just
yeah,
talking about like storage on the game in general.
yeah.
And then he figured it out a way to like compress everything that they were
Mhm.
able to add Kanto into it just because they had so much more space.
Yeah. It's all about proper optimizing, which Game Freak has yet to remember how to do. Yeah, because for some reason you can't have all the Pokemon in one game. But
Right.
that's a tangent for another day, I guess. Uh, yeah, so now it's like everything is pretty much fully fleshed out again. Like the Cerulean Cave is fully fleshed out. I believe Seafoam Islands are like completely open again. Yeah,
Hmm.
everything is
Viridian Forest.
yeah, Viridian Forest, everything's full on as it was, one for one. But Cinnabar Island is still like just volcanoed over, right?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
volcano. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because originally they did that because they needed to save space, so they just said, "Oh yeah,
Right.
there was a volcano eruption on Cinnabar." But now they just
Right.
kept it like that because that's just how we know it.
But also they added as part of the new routes, they also added a new safari zone that's accessible
Mm-hmm.
before it's accessible in there, and then you can it's actually probably one of the most unique, and I think it's probably the best safari zone.
Hmm.
Because you go there, there's 6 different areas, and then you can encounter like whatever Pokemon that are there. But once you defeat the game and you open up the national decks, you can actually modify each area in the Safari Zone with items, and
Right.
tied to those items are certain Pokemon or certain values. And if you flood an area with a certain amount of those items,
Mm-hmm.
then more Pokemon of different Pokemon will be spawned in your Safari Zone. It also has to do with days too, so you have to leave some of them like in there for like 100 days, which sounds tedious at first.
Yeah.
But if you're like really dedicated to doing it, then all you have to do is set it and forget it and just play something else.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's
But
still
you
like
can get
100 days is insane. That's like over 3 months.
it is, but you could also get like really good. Like I mean, 100 days for Riolu, otherwise that you could only get from an egg or breeding, and then also the chance that like hunt it as a shiny Pokemon, because one of the
Yeah.
ones that people go back to constantly is the Johto Safari Zone,
Right.
looking for like rare encounters. I've seen people do Gibble, I've seen people do Aeron, Larvitar is another one that's here, Beldum,
Yeah.
Slowbro, Feel, stuff like that. And you can get
Bagon.
really good odds. I think I remember seeing somebody do a 50% Feel and a 50% Slowbro. The spread of Pokemon is just insane. And the fact that you can like I said, you can customize your own Safari Zone experience. So if you really just want to cut out all of like the garbage
Mm-hmm.
out front, you just put, you just change the values, and then your area will be whatever it is. Not to mention, like I said, there's no step counter either. So if you want to stay in there forever, you can stay in there forever. I don't think it counts the time though, so you can't go in there and then just wait 100 days and it'll pop up. You have to
Yeah.
actually exit the Safari Zone for it to count.
That would make sense. Yeah.
And then I don't believe you can change time because it'll punish you again and be like, oh no, your time didn't pass.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a feeling that there are some things that like that you were able to manipulate, but other things like that you probably wouldn't be able to. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure it would like actually count like how many actual days have passed. Like, for example, in Platinum, like Diamond Pearl Platinum, there was a certain person that would give you ribbon every day for telling her a story, but you could go into the DS settings, change the day, like wait for it to turn to midnight, and then talk to her, and then she'll give you the other ribbons. But
Hmm.
yeah, for something like this, I feel like that'd be a little bit more crucial to like make sure that that event doesn't get triggered that way. Yeah, so instead of having the Kanto Safari Zone, they
Right.
snubbed it again. So now it is it's the PAL Park. So
Right, and it's the
transfer,
better
yeah,
version of the Pal Park.
exactly. No limits on it. It's the same as Platinum, where you don't have to wait like one set every 24 hours like in Diamond and Pearl. And so yeah,
Right.
they added that in. Again, convenience to not just have Platinum with you. You could just do it in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and everything will be hunky
Or
dory.
you could become a factory if you had both and do,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you had all three, you could do Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and then Platinum, and that's 18 Pokemon,
Yeah,
in,
every
in like
like,
in one session.
exactly. But you'd have to be total just like
You have to really
degenerate.
want the
Yeah,
Pokemon from Gen 3 to go up.
exactly, exactly. I feel like that'd be way too much stuff to just like pay attention to. Yeah, and now, so the fighting dojo in Saffron City is now similar to Sinnoh's Battlegrounds. Uh,
Hmm.
is that one that you're all familiar with? Because I wasn't familiar with it.
Not really. I think it's just like a place to go and fight.
Just like fight people and stuff.
Yeah, the one I'm more familiar with is the Trainer House in Viridian City.
Right, I like that one at least originally in Gold, Silver, Crystal because they had like all the starters on their team, and I thought that was really cool to just battle over and over again.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much my extent of knowledge for that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's just a place that you went to go and fight people over and over again.
Yeah, let me just make sure at least in case we upset the two people that watched that were
Oh,
using
I
it.
love the, I love the fighting
I
dojo.
love fighting. Fighting dojo. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
you
is that
battle
the
the
one with
gym
the gym
leaders.
leaders?
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
the
that
one.
was in Viridian City.
Well, this one it looks like you're battling all the gym leaders with full on like
Okay,
national
well, cut,
dex
cut,
teams.
cut, cut that bit
Yeah.
out. Oh, I love the fighting dojo. The
It's
fighting
the best.
dojo
It's the best.
is the
Oh man, it's
best. Yeah,
beautiful.
this is where you went to rematch gym leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Uh,
totally did. I,
yeah.
I forgot what it was, but yes, I
Yeah.
forgot. I was misremembering because I thought it was in Viridian City and not in
Yeah.
Saffron City. But yeah, this is like where you'd go to rematch all 16 gym leaders, and I believe if it's like a kind of patience pays off kind of thing.
Hmm.
Because if you wait, I think it populates with more and more trainers rather than if you just like went there and cleared it out every day.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
like it's if you could have the entire room filled with like has right there all
Hmm.
16 gym leaders,
Yeah.
but
That's
you
oh,
but
that's so cool.
you would have to wait like quite a while for it to get filled up like that.
Exactly. So yeah, that is honestly so cool that like you rebattle them and they have just full on teams like that.
I
Correct.
really like Faulkner's team too because he has like Staraptor, and Staraptor's like one of my favorite flying type Pokemon.
Hmm. Yeah, let me go back over. Yeah, yeah, it's Staraptor. He has Honchkrow, Noctowl, Pidgeot, Pelipper. Yeah,
Right?
but
It's kind of sad that he doesn't have like a Skarmory.
yeah, Bugsy
Like
has a
that would have been.
Shedinja. But I mean, you kind of assuming that you'll have a fire type when you go in and battle Bugsy, anyways.
It's weird
Yeah.
because it's like I think they picked like a theme rather than actual like competitive stuff because
Hmm.
like Sizer Heracross pretty good and then they just picked like a Drivel, but also
Yeah.
it's like Whitney doesn't have like a Snorlax.
She doesn't have a Miltank with rollout. She
She
just
does
has
not.
no. So yeah, not as threatening.
Right, it feels like they just kind of gave her like a
Let's see.
smorgasbord of whatever. They gave Morty two
Yeah,
Gengars.
I got
They could
two.
they couldn't have bothered to give him like a Bayonet or anything.
Mm-mm. But at least with Claire, she doesn't have like two of the same dragon Pokemon, which is nice.
Yeah, but it's also
But
like she doesn't
she,
have Flygon, Altaria, Garchomp, or any like other dragon type
right,
Pokemon.
yeah, exactly. This looks more like Lance's team than anybody else.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, Lance's post game team has all those stuff. I think
yeah.
he still has Charizard and Gyarados though.
Rematching the gym leaders. So yeah, they'll have their full team. So it looks like how they did in the, at least where we just saw the fighting dojo.
Hmm.
But they are higher levels than as if you're battling them
Yeah,
in the
you can also
dojo.
find them just like in random places, which is
Yeah.
like really cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it was really sick. And then the Elite Four, they had rematch teams, right?
They did. They had national Dex rematch teams, I
Yeah.
believe.
So yeah, you can see this over here where it's like Will has like Gardevoir and Grumpig.
Bronzor,
Yeah.
Bronzong, my bad.
Yeah, then Koga has like Toxicroak and Swalot. Bruno has
Yeah, there it
Lucario.
is. He
Yeah.
has more of a dragon team than he did before. So he's got
Exactly.
Salamence, Garchomp, Dragonite, Altaria.
Yeah.
He could have had Flygon and
They could have done anything, but I mean, Charizard makes sense, I guess, because like he's always had Charizard, and it looks like a
Mhm.
dragon, but it isn't a dragon. And we
well,
wouldn't.
he had
Yeah.
Charizard in Gen 2. He
Right.
didn't have Charizard
Exactly.
Gen 1.
Battling Red, did he have a rematch team, or is he just the one team?
No, it's just the
No.
same.
Yeah, but
Well, I mean,
also,
aside from the fact that they swapped out Lapras.
yeah, and also now you need Rock Climb to get to the top of Mount Silver.
Yeah, so good luck,
Yeah.
asshole. You're gonna get up there
Yeah.
with fucking 5 Pokemon that are good and one
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah. Also, the Pikachu that he has is level 88, which at least at the time is the highest level Pokemon that you could battle on a trainer, or just
Right.
just on a trainer in general. So that was crazy, but it's just a Pikachu, so you could knock it out easy. But then everybody else that he has on his team is super super high level too, and also
And then
Hail is a thing now too.
I don't remember if he could do it because I was talking. We were talking about like how they cut out stuff, like they cut out stuff in the original Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and
Mm-hmm.
now that we have areas filled out again, like the Seafoam Islands and stuff like that, you can catch. You can go back and catch Articuno in the Seafoam Islands
Mm-hmm.
in Heart Gold and Silver. I don't remember if you could do that in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. I do know you can catch Moltres in Mount Silver. You can
Yeah.
catch Zapdos at the power plant, and you can
Mm-hmm.
catch Articuno in the Seafoam Islands. But I don't remember if you could do that in Gold, Silver, and Crystal.
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think you can.
No, I don't think that they're available in those games
So I think that is
whatsoever.
something new that they added, which is pretty cool,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's a lot of legendaries available in this game.
right? As well as Mewtwo, which is
Yeah,
kind of weird because then
exactly.
if it's a direct sequel to Red, Blue, and Yellow, what happened? Why did Red release the legendary birds and Mewtwo?
Why not? I mean, maybe in that canon over there, he never caught them and never bothered.
I don't want.
Yeah,
I don't subscribe to that canon because
yeah,
I caught those things like 8 times over.
yeah. Because think, Red was a 10-year-old boy at the time. What is he going to be doing catching a Mewtwo?
They renamed. Well, I mean, they didn't have names to begin with. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure everybody just called them Gold and Silver, at
Yeah.
least the trainer and then the other one. And
Mm-hmm.
then in Crystal, you could pick whether or not you wanted to be a boy or a girl. And that was the first game you could do that. Now
Right.
in this game, they allow you to pick, and their canonical names are Ethan and Lyra. Another
Also,
addition with the Pokemon following you is that there's like if you like depending on how long they follow you for,
mm-hmm.
there's a chance they can find some shiny leaf, which I believe is like one of the last things you need to get like a maxed out trainer card.
Yeah.
You need to find 5 of them.
Mm-hmm. And then you get a crown after you get 5 leaves. So you get it and turn into a shiny crown, which I know at least in my research on like ribbon challenges, a lot of people consider this like an unofficial ribbon. So it's like they want you to get the leaf crown now. But yeah, I think we've pretty much tackled everything that we could talk about with these, at least with the additions and like new things
Right.
about Heart Gold and Soul
I feel
Silver.
I feel like we probably like if we talked about everything this game had, it'd be like
Yeah.
3 episodes long.
Yeah. And also it's like a lot of it again is based off of the foundation that is Gold, Silver, and Crystal.
So we didn't want to get too much into it because then by the time that comes around, we'd have nothing to talk
Yeah.
about. So
Yeah, even though we think of these games so highly, like, yeah, exactly. We need to have enough stuff to talk about for the Gen 2 video.
right.
So, yeah, all things considered, like, come on, 10 out of 10. It's a perfect Pokemon game. I think that everything
If
about
I
it
was
is
gonna give,
just,
I think I said it before.
yeah.
If I was gonna give one a 10 out of 10, it'd be this game. So 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so, yeah, 10 out of 10 game. please play it whatever means you
However
need
you
to,
can.
however you can. If you have money bags, buy the game. If you want to buy a repro cart, whatever, like help some scammers, I guess.
If
If
you
you
gotta
want to,
steal it, do it.
yeah, exactly. If you got to
If you gotta cut someone's throat for it, go for it.
bust someone's kneecaps, just
There you go.
like you just got to play it. But
It
also,
is
yeah.
worth every minute of your time to play this game.
Exactly. And as we said at the beginning of the episode, if you had one Pokemon game to play, this is it. Everything about Pokemon is fully realized in this, and everything else is fine, but not as good as Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode of Babblers. So again, thanks everybody for your support, for watching. If you like what you saw, please like and comment on the video. Tell us what you think. And please subscribe as well. That really helps out with the channel. Definitely been enjoying these ones.
Yeah, please subscribe already. Your girl is already subscribed, so
yeah, I mean, come
might
on.
as well join her.
Come on. Yeah, so also, next episode we're going to be doing is...
Gen 3, baby.
Yeah. Hold on.
Basically the inspiration for this podcast.
Yeah, so we are going to... Yeah, we're going to be going into Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald for the next episode. And... yeah, we are very, very excited to get into that one. Have a good one, you guys. Later.